Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to continue our video the series which we began last week, which was mainly about how to write code inside of Unity using C#. Now, last week we learned about variables and functions, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about classes, namespaces, and also structs inside of C#. So that's the main things we are going to be talking about. So if you're watching this video right now and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click on the button to my left, which is on your right, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You'll find that red button down below that looks like a subscribe button. Okay, so make sure you do that and then catch up to me. Now let's get into today's video and let's learn something new. I'll begin by explaining what a class is, and a class is simply a group of variables and methods combined together into a single unit, or you can call it a blueprint. So it's like the holder for different functionalities inside of a game. Now, for every single script which you create inside of Unity, for today you can see we created a script called basic syntax. It comes in the form of a class which is derived under mono behavior. And like I said in our last video, mono behavior allows you to attach this to a component inside of a game. So this can act as a game object, but there is no problem at all if you choose to move this mono behavior entirely from the class. It will still work as a class, except you wouldn't have some functionalities like this start. It won't be called once for a frame, once in a frame, and for this each frame would not be called for the update. So that would be the disadvantage, but it will still work perfectly fine. Now this is just what a class does. It holds everything, or it holds a lot of data which you can get access to. So you can call this your very own blueprint. And the next which we would look at would be namespaces. So let me zoom this to maybe 150. Now these are examples of namespaces. You can see it showing me namespace.system up there. What a namespace is a collection of classes like put together so that you can access them and call different functionalities. Now you can make your own namespace. It's completely allowed. It's not like there is any any law regarding that. So but then the problem with this is that namespace, let me call this my code. Okay, now it's not advised to make a namespace if you don't have a very large game which you want to be making. So we can go ahead and cut this and put this inside of this namespace. I think I forgot this, so let me yeah, it should be okay. So this namespace should be used mostly for large games, like which have different classes stored under it. Under this namespace, I can go ahead and make another class, like a public class, and call this my class. So you should do. Now there is no problem with this. So this is what namespace does. So far, I haven't done any huge game which demands a lot of namespaces, but if you have plans for that, this is what you should be aiming towards. This particular is helpful so you don't keep repeating code over and over again. If you have a game which has similar functionality, you can use a namespace to access different things over there. And finally, for structs, what structs are, it's a list of variables under one name, allowing different variables to be accessed. So it's a group or a name which allows different variables to be accessed. Now a common struct which you would be using inside of Unity is the vector tree. call this vector. So this would be the common struct which you are going to be using inside, and this is your example. There are a lot of structs inside of Unity, but this would do for the example you are going to give. Now a vector in our case, now what it does is it holds a position of a game object inside of your game. So a vector tree is just three floats put together, one representing x, another y, and another z. So if we go back inside of Unity and I click on my main camera, you would see something called transform up top. So what a vector does handles most of the time this positioning. So x, y, z, this is a combination of three different float variables to give this position, and is being stored as a struct inside of Unity. Now back to these namespaces, another thing which I forgot to mention is if you take this out of Unity, or if you remove these namespaces which have been provided to you by Unity, there would be not much of a problem, but you won't have access to different functions which the engine has, the system, and also the system collections. So that is what it does essentially. You can still write variables and you can still code, but then you have to find a way to make a reference, relate it with the game engine, because at this point you would be removing the using Unity engine, and if it's not using that, then it has no access to some of the functions which the engine provides you with. So that's just a brief thing which we will talk about today. I think this should be all for this video. In our next video, we're going to talk more about referencing, and there you will see how these things relate together: the namespace, classes, variables, and functions. I would show you how to link each and every one of them, what private does and what public does, even serialized field, and a lot more. So make sure you stick around for my next video. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope I see you next time.